live. We're live, Dorothy. And you said no problem. So
I said no problem.
We're going to talk about a very problematic time, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, we got some stuff going on, but I'm going to turn my phone on so I can see what we're doing here. And are we live here? And just to clarify, I mean, we're going to talk about some things that are important to you that you wanted to talk about and focus on. And are we live?
Yeah, we're live. It says
I don't see it on the
screen. Yep,
okay.
W3 Vales, and she's in Florida where the hurricane was, and she says we're okay.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess my phone is just going to have to play catch up. Okay. I would tell you that there are many things that some people, depending on the astrologer you follow or whatever you get, it's just important to recognize that some people will focus on certain things, and that will be the focus of what we're all worried about, because we tend to be a bit fearful nowadays with Saturn in Pisces. But what you and I talked about just before we hit live, I mean, I've been looking at some other aspects that are completely different than what you're looking at. And, we had some difficult aspects, the 15th that we're recording this. We had some difficult aspects on October 11, 12, and 13, and they were quincunx aspects. They were very difficult aspects. They create this finger of God, this isosceles triangle, and Mercury was at the apex of it, Mercury in Libra. So where's the balance in our communication and information that we're receiving? And it was making this quincunx aspect to Neptune and to Uranus. So we're getting so much information that is not true, and we're unsure about everything that we're listening and hearing. Now, when I see, just before we came on, I was perusing the Facebook and the Instagram. I was just perusing everything. And I saw a post and I'm like, I wonder if that's true. So I went and I researched it, and it was just a meme. Nothing was true about it.
There's no meat on that bone. There's nothing.
None whatsoever. And so even though this aspect has come and gone, this aspect between the day Pluto went direct, that was October 11th. Mercury was quincunx Uranus. The very next early morning, Mercury was quincunx Neptune. Even though we had all of these, I know that's a lot of astrology terminology, but it means information. It's difficulties, and it's difficulties in understanding what's going on, and difficulties in receiving information. So for you, for me, and anybody listening, I want you to know that it's about being present. Do like what I just did. If you see something that just triggers you, or you're like, how can that be freaking true? I don't know. I'm going to go research it. Don't fly off the handle. Don't keep scrolling on your whatever you're at. TikTok and X are pretty heavy duty for lots of misinformation right now. Don't keep scrolling. Go research it. Find the people. If you're listening to Nancy Jean or me, we got a good head on our shoulders. We're going to tell you where to look and who to be associated with, but use your own discrimination. And then you were talking about, what were you talking about? Mars squaring Chiron. So yeah, Mars did square Chiron on the 13th. The sun was really close in that aspect as well. And that was a whole different aspect happening simultaneously on the 13th and the 14th. And that creates a lot of discord, a lot of anger. Mars in Cancer is so hard to handle for most of us if we're already feeling the fire of anger or stress. And then squaring Chiron, that definitely brings in the effect of, in Chiron's retrograde in Aries, those wounds. Mars rules Aries. So all those wounds will come together. So I know I hit the ground running here, but we have a lot of many different astrological configurations that are creating a fair amount of stress. And then again, just to top it all off, Saturn in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces will stir up a lot of our insecurities and fears, and it just will. It's hard to move through them. So do what you do to ground, and do what you do to stop scrolling, to stop spiraling.
Go find some things to clear your mind. Because when you get enough of those things all piling up, it almost becomes an obsession, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've noticed for myself, like my screen time online, you know, I mean, I use my phone more than anything, right? So my screen
Right.
time online has just been increasing over these last few months. The daily hours I spend
Hmm.
on a lot of it is work because I post my astrology daily on all of the social medias.
Which is really good. If you don't go to Dorothy's. Let's see, I've got your thing here.
Yeah, just go to my channel because I have Instagram and
You go
I
to
have,
this, and you will be able to find everything you ever wanted.
yeah, yep. And the daily stuff, the daily YouTube, I have daily YouTube. And I cross post it onto my business Facebook, to
Hmm.
Instagram, and to TikTok. So it's on all of them, wherever you feel like going. Some work better than others, whatever
Hmm.
you're in. Just my name, Dorothy Morgan, Astrologer. TikTok's a little bit different, but you'll find me if you go to my website. Everything's at the bottom. All the links are at the bottom. You know how that works on websites. So yeah, yeah, and I mean, they're only 60 seconds, but I still give you the feel for the day. And I post everything goes up about a day before. So
Right.
you're a day ahead. And if you want to be a member on my YouTube channel, you get it all ahead of time. If I've posted a week, if I've posted 2 weeks or a month's worth of dailies, you're going to get it if you're a
Right.
member.
And if
Just,
you're the kite that plans ahead or says, "Oh my God, what happened to me yesterday?" Oh,
uh-huh. So it's like, yeah, the energy is pretty heavy duty these days. Let me look at what today is. Today with the moon in Pisces until later this
yeah,
afternoon.
but we're heading up to a full moon, aren't we?
We are. The full moon is tomorrow. No, the day after tomorrow. It's on the 17th, and
Hmm.
it's in Aries, and it is also that energy. That full moon is part of the Mars, because the full moon will square Mars.
Hmm.
I got to pull it up. And Chiron is part of that too. I'm going to pull this up too so I can see it in my face. I don't think I can share it with you guys, but yeah, the Chiron's at 21 and the full moon is at 24 of Aries, but it's really close. So we have the full moon with Chiron and Mars squaring it. So I talk about that in my full moon forecast as well. That's a longer video. There's a short one for 60 seconds, but the longer one is about 15 minutes or so. I do that every month too, the new moon and full moon. So you can go dig into that, and I talk about all those aspects there too. So there really is a lot of stress, and there's just a lot of as you know, and when I saw your Sunday thing,
I
all the
Yeah, I pulled up the 30th of October in the Weasley little on my phone program that I have that does
Mhm.
astrology, and I saw that mess that is the 30th of October, and it's got 6 wedges and a
See,
grand trine in the middle,
yeah.
and I'm like, that's not fair.
Ugh,
I mean, that means a lot of planets they're all touching each other. They normally kind of all sort of relate to each other, but these are all kinds of doing fancy dancy things,
mhm, mhm.
and Linda Frazier thinks that your videos are outstanding.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna look at the quick
The
notes
chat.
here.
Mhm.
Yeah, the chat, striving for balance, stepping up, the critical thinking. Yes, exactly. Critical thinking is just
This
so
is
important
really
right
is this is when whatever critical thinking you were taught as a child is going to come to the fore.
now. I don't know what I was taught as a child. I have to research.
They snuck it into our curriculums. It was like they'd show pictures of houses, and they'd have the really pointy roofs or real flat roofs and stuff. And they say, "What climate do you think you'd see this house in?"
Mhm.
And of course, then they mention, well, if it's got a pointy roof, the snow's going to slide off.
Right.
So you see form and function together. If it's a flat roof, you want to gather water. So that tends to be in drier areas. I mean, that's one real clear example, but they used to bring it up all the time. Why would this person walk to this place?
Mhm.
What was the motivation? It's not like what we believe now, Dorothy. It all happens by magic, but that there was real human reason behind it.
Right.
My youngest had a homeschool curriculum, and every day from the first day, starting in first grade, she had a critical thinking exercise every single day till the end of this, till she finished at the end of the 7th grade. And she learned what were speculative words, what were factual words, what were words of measure, which, you know, should be factual words, but how to define things. And when she was about 10 years old, I showed her, I had her read this professor's article, and he had these 3 paragraphs, and he had his incoming freshmen in their English class define what's fact, what's fiction, what's speculation and stuff. And he said each year at that point, so this would have been 23 years ago, each year, every year it got worse, the number of kids who couldn't tell a difference between a word that's speculative and a word that's a fact.
Okay. So you're right. I mean, I think that was just,
it was just part of
of life. I mean, I was born in 1960, so, you know, I was in school in the late 60s at the beginning, obviously. But yeah, because I was thinking about that the other day, and it's just like, that's just thinking.
Well, we think it's just thinking, but if nobody ever takes the time when you're little enough and sort of gives you guidance in the right direction, where do you go?
Yeah. Good point. Good point. It's amazing. But before we get to the 30th,
okay. We got days between there and now.
We got a lot going on between now and then. We have that full moon on October 17th. It's at 7:26 a.m. Eastern time, so you all will adjust to wherever you live. Point being, we'll see the full moon the night of the 16th, and it's early in the morning on the 17th. It'll be really nice and pretty. So, you know, that is, full moons are always about complete and total awareness. A lot of people in just a very simplistic way think full moons are just about, I'm going to write some stuff down and release it. And yes, you will do that, but that's too simplistic. We'll just go a little deeper for you guys, and I do it for everybody, but it's just like, sit down and be aware, look at what your awareness is. And this time we're talking about Libra, Sun in Libra, Moon in Aries. So what is your awareness in collaborations with your spouse, you and your parent, you and a best friend, you and your boss, whatever, back and forth, one person, you and one, and all of that shows up in a full moon, where you get to see both sides of everything. Both sides of everything. You know, I think this is, thinking of that, it just came through. One of the reasons why I think like Kamala Harris's rallies just the last couple of days, actually it's been a couple of weeks, she goes, just go and look at what he's doing. Go and look at what he's doing. And so she's asking people just to see the whole picture. I've always done that, so I know where I stand. But she's asking and showing people to see the whole picture. Not many people are doing that. She's doing that. That is a clear vision of a full moon in Libra, a full moon in Aries, with the sun in Libra, the moon in Aries. I just think it's a perfect representation of that. So, you know, I mean, unless you're 100% sure, go ahead and watch, and then you just will feel even more secure in whatever is important to you. So I feel we need to do that. So that's just what we look at the full moon. And with the full moon, Venus enters Sag. So much fun when Venus is in Sag, because that gives us a chance to feel a little lighter and playful about what we love to do and what we value. So this isn't all doom and gloom. I want to make sure we understand that there is some fun things going on here too. So we can play, we can explore, we can live life. It's not just all focused on this October stuff. But on the 9th and the 20th of October, we have another one of those yods and those quincunxes, because now the sun is where Mercury was when I opened, right? So the sun is now where Mercury was back a week ago, back on the weekend of October 11, 12, 13. Now the sun is there. So October 18, 19, and 20, the sun is there. So that's just going to highlight more. The sun always shows us what we need to see. These yod aspects and patterns create discord. So we have to stop, assimilate, evaluate the situation, and make an adjustment. We do not continue on the path we're on. We have to just stop and make adjustments. So it is not we do have to deal with situations that we're presented with, each our own. But that is what these aspects create. We can look at the politics and see what's going on there. That's fine. Seems to be a big focus, obviously. But in your own personal life, if that isn't a focus and you are having issues and there is a situation or whatever, or two, whatever is coming up, this tells us this aspect, this quincunx that creates the yod, creates those opportunities to slow down, assess, adjust, and then move. We have to pivot a little bit when we have aspects like this. It's pretty quick, but the sun is bright and it shines the light on what we need to see and where we need to make some changes. So if you are feeling stressed and like things are in discord, it's understandable, but it also is that opportunity for us to stop, assess, pivot, move forward. So that's what I would say with those things that feel really difficult right now.
It kind of reminds me, there's energy around the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords can either stop you in your path when it's blocking you, or it's raised up and it's helping you go forward. But even if all the other three aces, I'll say you're going to go ahead with money, you're going to go ahead with love, care, affection, and motion, or you're going to go ahead with the enterprise and the wands. But the sword says, yeah, you're going to move, and then you're going to hit a speed bump, and you're going to have to slow down enough to consider, do I want to stay, or how am I going to maneuver this? And I think that we all want everything to go along swimmingly. It doesn't always do that. Like, it never does that. There's always some planet out there plotting our demise. That's why I couldn't stand it when they added all the little planets, the
asteroids, all the asteroids. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at an asteroid chart, it's insane.
I don't do it. I know. I see.
I had to take them off. I've
been doing this for 30 years plus. And let me tell you, on Facebook, when I see people in the astrology groups, etc., posting stuff, it's like their chart and they're asking a question and there is not one empty space because they have a dozen asteroids plus the 10 planets plus the nodes. I mean, it is impossible.
And they throw in fixed stars like Algol and all that stuff. And you're like, what? No wonder y'all run away harder than when someone hands you a whole deck of tarot cards and says, read them.
It's too much. And unless you will be a professional astrologer, get rid of all of that. If you're dabbling, which if you have an app and you're not reading a chart from an ephemeris to begin with, you're a dabbler. And you're an astrology enthusiast. I love that. But do yourself a favor and get rid of all of the asteroids. Keep Chiron if you want. Chiron's good. He's the wounded healer. There's 4 others that are nice, but
Ceres isn't bad. And
Ceres and Juno and Pallas Athena and one more. I can't remember.
Eris, Mars' sister.
Yeah.
The new feminine energy. Yeah.
And so with all the asteroids are more feminine. So that's why a lot of people like to add them. But I just want to encourage people, if they are studying and they really want to know more than just what they think they're reading, so it makes sense, get rid of all the extra stuff to begin with. Just put the planets and the lunar nodes. And if you know birth times, do use the ascendant and the midheaven. That's already 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's already 14 positions. Okay. That's 14. That's huge. That's already huge. So just do that. Start there. And then group things together with either the elements, what zodiac signs or what elements, understand that. And then the zodiac signs, what modality there are. There's 4 elements. There's 3 modalities. That equals 12 zodiac signs. Another round of Ophiuchus, the 13th zodiac sign, starting to move through the internet again. It's not true. Just ignore it. Even if they sound like they know what they're talking about, just ignore it. It's not true. It comes up every year.
Yeah, and there's so much. Anyway, we got this. I want to show this is for Debbie. Debbie, who's down in Florida. Okay. I don't know what the energy we have today, but I'm not a fan. She was in an accident this morning. Oh, well, I'll send you love and light so you don't get too hurt.
If you're sore, you're going to be more sore tomorrow. Today's energy is the moon's in Pisces, and people aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
People are daydreaming, and they're not paying attention. That is this morning all the way until 4:30 Eastern time this afternoon. So With the moon in Pisces, people will not pay attention and they'll just be, it's great for if you're home, if you're meditating, if you're listening to music, if you're being creative. It's great for that. Swimming, beautiful stuff, but it's not great for paying attention if you're when you're driving, if you're distracted, and that's probably most likely the scenario.
Somebody
Yeah.
was. Okay,
Somebody was.
I'm a Leo sun, moon, Libra rising, Leo sun and moon, Libra rising. I'd like to learn more about astrology, but I want to keep my day job. Yeah, that's when they throw it.
Of course, keep your day job.
But I've seen a lot of people, and that's how I met Dorothy, is I want a free reading from her. And her little handy things on her site are very useful. And just getting a chart and making sure it's the right chart.
Yeah, that's the start. Yeah, some people don't trust me. And I'm like, well, you pay me to do a chart. You let me talk. It has happened. I have a class online. It's all self I forget what the word is.
Self-directed.
Thank you. I recorded my beginner class just for you. It costs money, but it's hours of me going through the very basic beginner stuff. Now, a lot of people just miss that piece, and it's the foundation of astrology. It's foundational astrology. And a lady that taught me back in the 80s, she is still with us. Her name is Dusty Bunker. Her book is called The Beginner's Guide to Astrology. Class is in session. This is a basic book. You understand everything in here and don't move one step until you understand everything in here. And then you will just be great at reading your own chart, Rose. You don't have to worry about, I want to quit my day job. This walks you through it one step at a time. And if you do get this book, you can get it on Amazon. If you do get, I don't get any commissions on this. I just tell you, I learned my astrology from her and my mentor, Kim Rogers Gallagher. And we're all still friends after 30 plus years. It's just adorable. I was actually talking to Dusty today. And so it's wonderful, fabulous book. I don't recommend any other because this one just gives you everything you need. And if you need a chart that she recommends you use, I will send you one. And it won't look like the crap you get online. You get too much stuff online. Too many aspects, too many planets, too many of everything.
Yeah, I went to a site this morning because I was trying to get a chart so I could show them how screwed up the 30th looks because I can't get it off my phone. And I went in and it had me, in order to get in, you got to kind of put your own birthday information in. You don't have to tell them who you are. I was putting my sister's name, not mine. But anyway, she's dead. Good luck at doing anything for her.
All right. Well, while we're talking, I'll see if I can share my video. Okay.
So when I was looking at it, and I looked at my birthday, and I've drawn my own chart. I worked from an ephemeris. I trained under a nationally known astrologer at the time in my 30s. I know my ascendant is 28 of Scorpio. It flipped out 10 degrees of Sagittarius.
Yeah.
And I know that's wrong. So then I checked, and they don't have their clock on the ascendant set right. I had to move it back an hour. If I moved it back an hour, it put me at 28 Scorpio. So.
What they don't have is they don't have it set for daylight savings time.
Yeah, the part of the world I lived in was transitioning.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of crazy stuff they did with time after World War II.
Is it showing?
And apparently, near Chicago. So apparently they didn't get the memo. But anyway, that's why I'm saying go to somebody like Dorothy or go to someone that you found that you really trust and have them do it, because your ascendant's kind of important, and knowing when it's in the right. Now, really, the only people I understand, I was told by somebody it's between 1947 and 1950 that they were really screwing around with daylight savings time and how they were recording things.
They had wartime. Yeah, they had wartime, which was a lot.
And they were changing that.
Yeah. All right, let's see if I can get this to. I tried sharing and it wouldn't let me. So let's try it one more time. Come back to you and I will show you. Let's do share the screen. Share the screen. Select the window. Solar fire. Let's see if that will do it. Allow.
You've shared before. I don't.
I have, and I'm clicking things. Let's see. It's not doing it.
That's.
I'm watching on the phone.
I think that's the other thing the planets are doing wrong. So.
No, it's the operator.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and
Yeah.
she said, "You have to run everything." She had
Mhm.
tried to do 12 different things that she does all the time about setting up shows. I mean, stuff we just know how
Yeah.
to do. She said
Yeah.
they all crashed. So she said,
Oh.
you take over the keyboard today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it won't let me apparently, so I'll just give it one more try. But yeah, the chart for, yeah, it's not letting me do it. Okay, we'll just pass. I won't try anymore. Did you have a copy? Did you make a copy or not?
I couldn't get it to come over in any way.
Oh,
Okay, what I've got two questions.
Okay.
I will second going right around birth time. That is important. About 5. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, somebody said she got the wrong moon when she had hers done.
Okay.
Here's a question. Would it be better if I schedule an exam after October 20th this month?
Well, I don't know why are we waiting until after October 20th?
Yeah.
It depends on what's going on in your chart, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you that. We would want to compare what's going on with the planets in the sky compared to your natal chart to answer that, to give that question a really a truthful,
fair judgment
answer.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair judgment.
Throwing you into the everybody in the world is going to have this happen to them today. Well, that's not true, because everybody in the world could have the worst possible day, and you had a great day. Okay, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
My birthday is 11/20/1958.
What are you doing? Right now you are watching us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I would have to cast your chart. And are we doing that today, Nancy Jean?
If you can cast that quickly, we don't have a birth time, but if you can kind of see.
There's no birth time, there's no location. And do you really want that public?
No, she doesn't.
It's not safe. It's not safe
Candy,
to have that
get
public.
a hold of me, and I have a thing in my phone I can figure out for you. I can't figure out what the hell you're doing. That makes two of us. There's two blind people in that.
Yeah, I know that's the thing about astrology like this. People do a lot of astrologers online will use, zodiac signs on the ascendant and give, like saying if you're a Sagittarius or have Sagittarius rising, this is for you. Honestly, it is only true if you have Sagittarius rising. Your sun sign, it's not true that way. And if you use whole sign houses, it's just a process that gives us a little more generalized, a little less generalized forecasting than simply talking about the weather. But the weather is important. Who's going to walk us, like I'm telling you, I've told you guys 100 times, astrology forecasting is like the weather. If you know it's going to be a really hot day in Texas and you go outside and you decide that you're wearing your winter clothes and you go outside because it's a hot day, that's your choice. But you have the information you need. Just like if it's going to rain, you're going to wear your raincoat and carry an umbrella or not. You get to choose, but you know what's happening.
Tomorrow morning, it's going to finally be 40 degrees in Dallas.
Oh my God, we had like 34 degrees this morning. It was so damn cold.
This morning when I woke up, it was 71. Tomorrow morning when I wake up, it'll be in the 40s.
That's a cool spell for you guys, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it means fall's finally coming. We've been in a really too hot.
Yeah, it hasn't been hot here in a while.
Did your trees change? Did they change nicely, or did they just all fall down?
Yeah, it's orange and yellow out there. Yeah, it's been obnoxious up in a little further north. I didn't go visit my daughter she lives in the mountains. It's only about an hour from here, but I didn't go visit her this last weekend because Columbus Day weekend, I wouldn't be able to get to her house without having to wait in line.
Without all the tourists standing between you and, I know.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But for a little further, like a place called the Kangamangas Highway, it's native. The Kangamangas Highway in New Hampshire is just a 2-lane road, and it was people who live there were really complaining a lot because the tourists. It's good to have tourists, but still, it was not great. overall. So let's talk about
Okay, let's talk about
30th. Yeah.
30.
Let me try one more time. I'm going to hit
Okay.
present. I'm going to hit share the screen. And it says share screen. Yes. And then I get no other window. So I must have a pop-up blocker on here or something. That must be what's happening. Oh, well, so I can't do it. Okie dokie. I'm going to look at the chart and talk to y'all because I'm just going to look at it here. So yeah, Nancy Jean, it is a lot of configurations. Let's see. First off, you mentioned a grand trine. So is that what you talked
shifting
about?
into a grand trine, water trine.
It's grand water trine, a grand trine in water. And what that is the fastest planet first. It's like we have Mercury in Scorpio. So that's about digging in deep and really researching and being very interested in what's going on behind the scenes. Right. And then it makes that 120-degree approximately angle over to where Mars is in Cancer. Mars in Cancer is very emotional. It's like when you put fire to water and you don't pay attention and it boils over, that is what Mars in Cancer feels like. We can be amped up on how we feel emotionally. We can be amped up, but we need to maintain it and watch it and let the steam out a little bit so we don't boil over. But Mercury in Scorpio is hanging on to things it's heard and things that were said. And Mars in Scorpio is like, all right, let's get pissed about this. Come on, let's have fighting words. But then the other planet that's part of this grand trine, meaning all three of the water signs are connected, is Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune in Pisces is just, that we're not paying attention, the daydreaming, just letting things slide. But it's retrograde. So that gives us an opportunity to see the illusion where the veil, I know we always talk about that this time of year because the veil is pretty thin, but the veil is relatively thin when we have Neptune in Pisces. It's been there for a while. It's almost done. Next year it goes into Aries. But in the meantime, a lot of illusion shows up. Things are really cloudy, foggy. We can't see the truth. So we have to trust our intuition and our instincts. So grand trine in water is nice for trusting our instincts, following a flow, being creative, managing our feelings and our emotions, sitting down and journaling things out. If you like to journal, but journaling things out or talking things out so you can really get to the center of that onion, if you will, get to the root in the root of the problem. We get to work with all of that. And some people will use it as just, they're getting angry and pissed off. And we're going to deal with Mars for a while. It's not just on October 30th. Mars retrogrades on December 6th.
I know.
To February 23rd. And I have a video on that already on my YouTube channel as well. So guys, go watch that. But it's been in shadow since October 5th, and it will spend a lot of months. Instead of spending 7 weeks in a zodiac sign or in a certain area, because it moves through 2 signs here, it spends 7 months in one area that it would take 7
Mars
weeks.
did in Taurus a little while ago. It just got stuck in there, and I thought, isn't that little bastard gone yet? Because
I know.
I'm a Taurus sun, but Venus and Mercury can never get too far from the sun, so they're all mixed up in that. And I was just like, oh, please go somewhere else. Can I pedal faster and make it move?
No, pedal faster. I know. I get that too. Because Mars will retrograde. It does its retrograde every 23 months. So every 2 years. We'll just say every 2 years. But the last time, it's in that forecast. I don't have it in front of me, the date. The last time Mars was retrograde in the signs, it will be retrograde in now. So it's in the end of Cancer and early part of Leo. So it goes from retrograde. It goes from 17 Cancer, from 6 Leo back to 17 Cancer. So that means 17 to 29 Cancer, and then 0 to 6 Leo is the retrograde area. It's 3 times. The last time it was in in Cancer, not Leo, but in Cancer was 1980s. Shoot, I can't remember. I don't know where I have the notes. I have the notes right here.
You keep talking and I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's in my my
That's
forecast.
where I'm going to go, Dorothy.
Yeah.
I'm
I
going
wrote
to
it.
the expert. I'm going
I
to.
wrote it out, and I don't remember. That's true. Don't sign contracts. Somebody's talking about, Rose is talking about not signing contracts during Mercury retrograde. If you have to, you have to. Let me tell you, there is no doubt about it. But here, oh, I almost found it. If you have to, you have to. But don't you worry about it. If just take your time when you're looking to sign contracts during that period. Sometimes we have to, Rose, sometimes life is life and we just can't get there. But all the other planets, when they're retrograde, they do the same thing. Where is this? I wrote it out, but doggone it, I can't find it now.
And I'm not able to pull that out of my emails. So
Oh, it's in the 80s. It was in the 1980s. Is it in this book? Yes. This is called an ephemeris. This has all the numbers of where the planets are for 100 years. It was in the 1980s sometime. It's really easy to find.
Ephemerises are lots of fun if you really are good at this stuff.
Yeah.
You can just go through the ephemeris and you can see where everything's moving.
Yep.
I was never that good at that stuff. I was that good on reading cards. So that's what I do.
Yeah, there's a difference. You all stay in your lane, man. I've tried. I took a few classes in my time on reading the tarot, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good. This is just too much for me. So I end up. You would think the astrology is definitely not overly easy, but okay, there's 83.
It's how you think. There's
It
too
is.
many numbers in an ephemeris.
Yeah. I guess I'm a numbers person. I mean, I've done a lot of number stuff, but anyways, I'm in 1985 and I can't find it yet. But because Mars has a 2-year cycle through the zodiac.
Yes.
So it takes time. So there's 87. I must have missed it. I think I missed it. I flipped through the pages too fast. Yeah, I did. But it was in the 1980s. Needless to say, that was a while ago. So I digressed on that. Yes, Rose, read the fine print. What else are we looking at here? What else did you want to talk about this?
It was in 1995.
Oh, it was 90s. Okay.
Yeah, it was Mars retrograde in the 1995 dates, and there was a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, so retrograde in early Cancer, and it moved back into Gemini. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know I put it in my in the written forecast. I just didn't have it in my handwritten forecast. I do both still.
It also somewhere in that year, within that time frame, stopped at Virgo and Leo, kind of dragged them through it. So.
Oh yeah. Every 2 years it retrogrades.
Mm-hmm.
But the zodiac signs it retrogrades in is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're looking at. So it will retrograde every year, every 2 years, and that just represents a period of inner reflection once again. So with this,
it's not actually going backwards. It's actually going backwards from our perception. If Mars goes backwards, what if an ephemeris says it's going to be the least of your problems?
Yeah, that's true. Nobody actually goes retrograde at all. It's just an illusion. But that illusion is just a metaphor, no different than like, oh, I saw a butterfly. What does that mean? However, the astrology we have that empirical pattern. We have the proof through. This is what it was when this happened last time. What did we see? Mm-hmm. So we have that history. We have that proof.
Right.
This is what it represents. And it wasn't natural for when, of course, astrology was first created, if you will. Just seeing something that they knew was something that just slowly moved, because those people observed the night sky all the time. They lived outside. Mostly tents, whatever. But anyways, just seeing something go backwards like that just wasn't natural. So they knew it felt ominous to them. So that's why the retrogrades got their ominous nature. But let me tell you, people born with Mercury retrograde, y'all are really intelligent. Most people, they're very intelligent, and you tend to you're born with it, so you don't know any different, but you may be somebody who you take longer to learn something, but you learn it deeper than others who don't have that planet retrograde in the sign that you have it retrograde in. So I've discovered that over all of these years of practice as well. It's like it isn't necessarily a big issue. It is a period of just readjustment and assessing and assimilating what you already know.
It's interesting when you hear archetypical astrologers. They go back and they look at all these changes over centuries, and then you begin to really see how astrology kind of works and why you can say this is happening now because this is what happened before.
Right. That's what that actually means. The empirical proof. That's what that actually is all about. That's what that represents. And so what else do we have on the 30th? The main aspect, the only one actual aspect that is exact on October 30th is Mercury is opposite Uranus on that day. That's the only exact aspect that we actually have, even though there's just tons of other things because the planets are really spread out now. They didn't, in the beginning of this year, everybody was just condensed into around 100 degrees on the chart.
Now they're getting
and now they've spread out. So at the beginning of the year, we had a major focus, and now we have a lot of focus. Yeah. So there's a lot going on. Pluto almost done its trek through Capricorn, but let me tell you that Pluto through Capricorn is just, we really are at this point of.
When does it come out? It comes out really soon, doesn't it?
On the 11th of November.
Good. Because
just that final phase of us just looking at what we don't want, what is not working. Is it October? Is it the 11th? No, it's not quite the 11th.
It's like the 11th or 12th, something like that. I know it's soon. If you've never seen the symbol for Pluto, it's like a P with a little L, like the end coming off. It's like a P and an L got put together. Yeah. And the way I was always taught to think about Pluto is it just takes its little edge on the bottom and just plows through whatever that sign's about.
Yeah.
And Capricorn's all about highly organized organizations and worlds and certain amount of religiosity.
Yeah, here it is. I was off by a little bit. It's not the 11th. The 11th is just Veterans Day. Venus enters Capricorn then. Where is it? Where are you, Pluto? Oh, there it is on the 19th. There we are.
Okay, they're good.
Yeah. November 19th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Pluto re-enters Aquarius. Yeah, so that's good. And
the people's house.
Yeah, the house of the people. And that's where we're going to go. We have to, just to see just the aspects, not compared to anybody's charts, but just to know that Pluto where it is and what we've been fighting for and what it represents the ending of old paradigms, old patriarchal systems. It's not that everything will leave and crumble, because that won't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't all change in one day.
No, it takes ages because it's going to take.
When Pluto went into Aquarius before, wasn't that the French Revolution? It was our revolution.
It was our revolution. Yeah. It was us right after the Declaration, which was our revolution. Yeah. When we were fighting for what we just because the Constitution and the Declaration was written and signed. King George still was like, Yeah,
he was still trying to come in from Canada and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how my family got to Canada. They were loyalists, and they were given sort of the maybe you ought to be out of Virginia in 24 hours and head up. All the people up in that part of Canada are all people that have been up there since the 1700s. Okay, this is a good thought for all of us. People are talking about the cold fronts coming through, and we hope that all the people who've been affected by the storms are in safe, warm places. And this because this can be outright dangerous without heat. I may complain about heat in Texas, but I really complain about cold.
Yeah.
And so wishing all of them well.
Yeah, we sure do. We sure do. There's a tough bunch of people, and they know how to take care of their own too, especially the folks that haven't been able to if get reached, if you will. It's pretty mountainous up there, and we all know this. We all know this. You don't need me to tell you, but yeah, it's pretty
Here's a
tough.
question I get a lot, Dorothy, when I talk about things. Hello, ladies. I would love to have my chart done, but the time of my birth was not recorded on my birth certificate. And I asked my mom before she passed, and she didn't remember.
Yes, okay. Even if she did remember, I don't trust people's mind recollection because most people don't remember what they had for breakfast a week ago, let alone.
Yeah, when they had a baby. No, my mom remembered very specifically because all the other kids came early in the day
Yeah,
and sort of disrupted her whole day, and she had
yeah.
to stay longer at the hospital. So when she had me, she said, "You gave me time to eat dinner before I had to go deliver you." So
Well, there you go. So you know that. Yeah, it was after dinner, whatever dinner time is for you in
right.
that time frame. And yeah, I ask people too. It's like, well, did your auntie or your dad or somebody just say, yeah, well, which somebody recently told me this. It's like, well, my dad said he dropped my mom off at the hospital on his way to work, and then when he came back after work because he just worked a regular day shift, I was born. So and I wasn't that old, just a few hours, so that gives me like a real good at mid-afternoon time frame.
Hmm.
So yeah, and there are ways to
There's a
take
thing
care of
called
that.
rectification,
Yeah, that takes a lot of work. That is not
and
that not
that
everybody
means
can do that. Yeah.
you think
Hmm.
that you've got it bad, so much fun. I have a woman who studies the Oracle Garden with me,
Hmm.
and she was born in an orphanage in Korea.
Wow.
And it was sometime around Christmas Day, so she's not even sure what day she was born.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then you're not going to do astrology. You're just going to find other ways to process. I mean, astrology is fine, but
Hmm.
um, because things move so much in a day. So even when I have the correct day, still the moon is going to move 12 degrees in
Hmm.
that day, approximately 12 degrees in a 24-hour period. That's approximate. And so sometimes obviously the moon will change signs in the middle of the day. Planets don't just change signs on midnight because it's the next day. That's just our
Hmm.
calendars and clocks. So when the sun changes signs or when the moon changes signs will just varies. It just
Right.
varies. You have to just look at the ephemeris and see where it is. And but I do charts for plenty of people. Um, and I just do a noontime chart and I just look at the moon and give it that leeway, and we'll start talking about different things. And some things are activated by moon
Hmm.
transits. And so we can, outer planets. So we can narrow the time down by spending time going back and forth. But it takes hours and that's expensive, to just, hash things out with a person. But it can be done. And again, I do readings for people. I just have to not include no ascendant, no midheaven, no house placements. We can only look at planets in the sky compared to planets that are in a neutral chart
Hmm.
and just go from there. So you could still do a lot with it. But I know a lot of people who don't, you know who don't do charts. Actually, Dusty, she won't do a chart unless you have your birth time. She's like, it's, to her, it's just she doesn't want to. Everybody has the
Yeah.
right to do what they want, right? Yeah, yeah.
And you'll see some astrologers talk about that with regards to politicians.
Yes. Yeah, if you don't have a politician or, famous person's birth time,
Hmm.
you're only assuming because there is a lot that happens that activates a lot of things at the midheaven because that's the public view of things and who you are and how the world will see you and prestige or social standing, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, we really do want to do that. Um, but yeah, sometimes I'm reading Cheryl here. She was just telling so much fun. You can check with the hospital where you were born. Sometimes that's true. And sometimes it's you just have to, yeah, Family Bible. I've seen it there. Honestly, I have. Baby books. I've seen it there where people never
Hmm.
expected that because, mom's writing or family members writing that out pretty quickly, pretty soon after baby's born. The baby birth card that goes in the little plastic crib we were
Right.
in at first, that baby card, lots of times, always, at least since the 60s, I know on that baby card, they've written in the birth, they write in the
Right.
birth time. Yeah. It's just what they did. It was just part of the process. So you find in all those places. And if you don't know, it's noontime. I use the noontime chart because it's middle of the day, middle of that day. So, yeah. All right, Nancy Jean, what else were you wanted to ask about with that?
Okay, we've got which big planets, I mean, when I'm talking the outer planets, one that moves slowly, which ones are moving before the end of the year?
I mean, they're all moving, but what do you mean by
they're moving to a new sign.
Okay, Pluto, we have that Pluto moving into
Pluto moves on the 19th.
Aquarius. That's it. Nobody else shifts signs this year.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's next year. Let me grab my notes for that.
Okay, because that is a thing about next year, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge. What I was doing before, I don't have any clients today, so what I was doing before we were talking is I do a year ahead, and it's a paid lecture, but I do the year ahead. I usually do it in November, and I'm prepping for that now. Let's see. So yeah, we already have Pluto in Aquarius. Neptune moves into Aries on March 30th, 2025. It will back out and come back in 2025 because it will retrograde back into Pisces. But we're going to get a bit flare of Neptune in Aries, March 30th, 2025. Saturn will also shift into Aries on May 25th, 2025. They will conjunct eventually, but not yet. Jupiter will enter Cancer on June 10th. Actually, it's June 9th. June 9th or 10th, June 9th, 2025, Jupiter will enter Cancer. Jupiter stays 1 year in a sign, just over 1 year. And then the last one will be Uranus will enter Gemini on July 7th. So but Uranus will pop back into Taurus for a little bit and then come back into Aries in 2020.
You mean I finally get rid of Uranus?
That's in my sign. Takes 8 years to move through a sign. So, it is just because it's in your sign does not, it will impact you when it's within a couple degrees of your sign coming towards it. As a separating aspect, it's over. We just get to process what we've gone through. But it's not just that. I just had Uranus on my ascendant this year and I didn't change. I was expecting a change and I don't know. Things have changed, but it wasn't, the dramatic change I was expecting. I have Uranus in my natal chart squares my ascendant. So I had Uranus transit on my ascendant.
You've been working with it for a long time.
I've been working with it for such a long time because Uranus is astrology. So I've been using it for such a long time that I didn't get any rugs pulled out from under me.
I dyed my hair purple the day that Uranus went into Taurus. I didn't know that till later.
Oh, that was 2018. I think it was May 2018, but
yeah, it was.
Don't quote me. Was it? Yeah. It was near your birthday. Yeah. Yep. What else do we have here? So those are the big things. Yeah.
But is it going to calm down? Because every time I listen to an astrologer do a 6-month report or a year report, they're going to say, and when we get past this, the worst is behind us. And I remember they said that at the beginning of 2024. They kept saying, and the worst is behind us. And then
I don't say that.
I know. Well, I don't know how you can say that for everybody.
I don't know how you can say it. I don't say it. I will not say it. I've been doing yearly forecasts for about 10 years now. I'll do the year ahead. And I will not say that because no matter what, every time you turn around, there is something else that is going to challenge us to grow. And it hurts for a lot of people. It sucks and it's uncomfortable. But if you're a person who can stay in your own center, your own core, stay in your lane and know that what you're doing is good. It's your earth, it's your view, it's your energy. And when things kind of spin us out because everybody's susceptible to it, then it spins us out. That's just the human nature. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this. I really don't think this. I'm trying to Pollyanna things, but we need Pollyanna once in a while. Well, like You know, we
Okay.
need the easy things. We need the easy aspects.
Right.
Not everything is challenging. Well,
You
there's
can't.
astrologers out there that will pull me to task. And it's like, stop sugarcoating everything. And it's like, I don't mind. I know we have difficult stuff, but I want to focus on what I want. We all know the power of being present and the power of our attention. Where we focus is where we go.
Mm-hmm.
So what's wrong with focusing on how I can
That
use
it's going to turn out okay.
difficult transit in a positive way?
But
You know?
speaking of annual readings, I
Mhm.
am opening up my store again with my
Oh,
12-month reading.
I still look back on that, miss. I have to tell
Does it
you.
work?
Yes, I look at it because we just did the 12-month thing,
Right.
and I've kept it. It's still right here in my Zoom file. And every once in a while, it's like, oh yeah, let's see what this month was about. I know what it was about. Was she right?
Yeah. That's always saying. Did she tell me and I made sure it went away?
That's right. That's right. No, actually it's quite accurate. It's very good. It's very
Well,
good. So I
anyway,
would
so
encourage people to do that. Yes.
if you go to the website that's scrolling at the bottom, crystaldirections.com, I'm trying to set them up now because last year everybody at the end of December glommed in and wanted to have them done. And I ended up doing the last person, I think, some week in January. It's really best if you have the whole 12 months because you kind of have the whole last 12 pretty clear in your head at that point. And all of when you sign in and you say you want it, you pay, then it comes to me and I contact you about setting up a time. I have not found a very good calendar for setting up, putting it on my site and go here and do it.
Yeah, I have it through Wix. It's an option through Wix which is who holds my website, who hosts it. So it's expensive though. Yeah,
It's expensive, and the other
expensive.
thing is, which means it's going to cost you more. And the other part is, a lot of it depends on kind of where I am and how I'm feeling. And
Right.
yeah, I just went through a allergy thing that really got my oxygen sats into the 80s. So
Oh, that sucks.
I know you can't read. You can't. It's like drinking 5 scotches and sitting in a chair going, I'm going to wake up someday.
That sucks. At least you could get a buzz with the scotch.
Really?
I've had 5 scotches in ages. When I do, it's been years.
Yeah. I remember those days. I remember those.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any
I've had a marriage like that. Anyway, so that's what I've got going up for if you want to know what's coming up in your world.
Yeah.
And I still do my 3-month readings, my situational readings, whatever you want. But
yeah.
And it's getting to be that time. And that's always kind of a nice gift to give people.
I have gift certificates on my website. You can buy a half-hour or an hour session for somebody, and it's all automated. So you even put their email address in and a note, and they immediately get it in their email with the code. So when they go book, they can when they go book, they can use the code that comes with it and book it. And there's nothing left to do. There's no paper. I mean, you can print something out if you want, but it's yeah. Good.
Anyway.
I love your sessions. Your sessions are great. I always encourage people to do that because it's fun.
And I encourage people to go get their charts from Dorothy. And we're going to quit selling things now, and we're going to go retire into the end of the day. Yeah. And I have nobody's typing in. They're not disappearing, but they're not typing in. So I want to thank all of you who've been here. Also, if you haven't liked the show, please do. That helps us incredibly.
It really does. Yeah. Even on my YouTube stuff, guys, even daily stuff is sometimes I can get 5, 6, 7, 800 views. And then for a week, it's like 70, 100. It's like the algorithms are just outrageous right now. So anytime you watch anybody that you love, and not just us, but please do it for us too. But anytime you watch somebody on any of the social medias and you really like them, just click the thumbs up, like them, because that's how you support the creators you like. You don't have to
Right.
join any membership that costs money. The way you can, because that just isn't for everybody, but the way you can really support people and people you like, no matter. I like people that talk about different things. It's not just, I don't listen to anybody else's astrology, honestly.
And
But
also, if you
yeah,
run into a fun subject and you hit that you like them, that will change your algorithm and they'll send you more stuff like that.
They
So,
will. They will. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. So
well, everybody have a good day.
have a good day, everybody.
Bye.